There are some champions in League that unfortunately fade into the crowd and just seem like sometimes to be forgotten. But that's kind of the downside of having a meta. It can sometimes take away champions that can shine and just kind of overshadow them sometimes. This whole channel is about exploring off-meta picks, and I completely do this all the time. But someone reminded me that Neeko has all the qualities of being a fantastic support champion, and I had to rediscover that for myself. And that's kind of a weird thing, because when you look up Neeko, honestly the first thing that you get is support, but I haven't really seen any Neeko supports anywhere. But we'll just move past that and take a quick look at her. You would think I would say she has a great strength in her passive, but not really. I mean, more often than not, you're just gonna sometimes do it every once in a while. And I say that because when you do it too much, the enemy is always counting minions, perpetually looking for you, and then you just lose that surprise factor that your passive comes with. Just use it sparingly and don't come disguised as a minion with every wave, because then it's not really gonna do anything. Now, when you are in lane, your Q is actually a really good tool to poke. She doesn't have the longest range on her abilities, but for some reason, people will never expect the multiple hits on your Q, and they just stand in it and just to get like one more minion and take all that damage. And it's really good if you land your E on them beforehand, so they are actually like physically stuck there to take all that damage. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with her E. Man, it's such a good binding ability. Having the chance to hit everything in a line, bind them all, don't have to worry about minions. It's absolutely amazing. But for some reason, I just can't hit it. I have the hardest time landing this stupid ability. Lux Q that only hits 2 things? No problems. There stun, not an issue. Neeko E, impossible. Now I already went over most of her abilities. I might as well finish that. Her W, I think is probably her worst ability. But hey, I really just use it to get some extra movement speed. It gives you movement speed, right? Now I might be crazy here, but I think your most powerful ability is your ultimate ability. What? But let me explain. I'm really meaning it's an extremely, extremely powerful ultimate. If this does land correctly, it can be absolutely game-changing and can almost instantly win a fight all by itself. You activate this, it'll cause the enemy to scatter, so their team fight is worse. And then, if they're still within range, you deal a ton of damage and CC everyone in the area. Now, you can completely screw it up and die before the ult even goes off, so make sure you're careful when trying to actually go in with this ability, because the enemy might not scatter and they can just burst you down. Neeko's burst potential is absolutely insane. Just land the EQ combo and you deal a ton of damage. But also landing your E generally means that you get a free alt land on that person, and it absolutely feels amazing when you do. Now for our runes, I took Comet for some extra damage there, Mana Flow because the early mana can be rough, Transcendence for more abilities, and Scorch for even more damage, because that's what you do damage things. Then for secondary tree, I did Cheap Shot for more burstiness when you land your CC, and Ultimate Hunter because obviously that's one of your best abilities, so you want to have it more often. Now for her build, my options are going to differ a little bit from the recommended because I'm brain dead when it comes to item actives. Zax for damage, boots, storm surge, then other bursty things. I know Rocket Belt is actually really good on her, but my dumb monkey brain can only comprehend one active in a build, and I choose that to be Zhonya's. So yeah, Zhonya's instead. But you can always change things up depending on your build and if you don't have a dumb monkey brain. If you want more off-meta content, please subscribe. If you're liking the video, give it a thumbs up so others can see it too, and let me know in the comments below what you think of this pick. Alright, we did it! We're in the game, and we're going to take this map so we can find our way to the bot lane and these mixed drinks, as we need to babysit a dragon, and that sometimes can be painful. Now, I will say this, I don't play ranked in my games because I don't think it's fair for me to play a first-time champion when people are trying to climb, but probably won't see that much moving forward because quick play is very poopy. Now, not much happens at the beginning of the game, but we are getting the push on the enemy. The Zyra actually lands her abilities to get some poke down, and then the Smolder decides to flash in thinking, I can burst this other Smolder down, and that is not the case. We fight for a bit, and to their credit, they get a kill, but now they're both pretty low, and I'm at full health, and that doesn't really favor them at this point. Now, Smolder thinks that's a funny engage, and I kind of agree with them, and that little mistake is basically what loses them the game, because now I'm going to be supercharged with damage, because I'm a bursty Neeko, and there's nothing they can do about it at this point. Now, I said eventually like 3 seconds ago, because they obviously they do catch up, and I'm not able to finish their Smolder off, which does prompt our little dragon to do something a bit dumb. But hey, we can't disapprove, he's just limit testing. We do dumb things all the time, like walking up and trying to land this ability, and then flashing forward to try and land this ability. But hey, I guess this just prompts their Smolder to walk up. I really don't know why he does this. Then we immediately try and back, and as I'm backing, I mean, oh my god, just watch. Now we'll just treat this as a half overstay. Now, like I said before, we're being pretty sneaky about using our passive, and we get back in the lane, and then we whip our abilities. But hey, that's what we have an ult for, and luckily it's so big, it's impossible to miss, or at least it's really hard to miss. But we hit someone, but it all works out in the end. But man, I just sometimes have the hardest time hitting that route. I just hate it so much, but for some reason, I just don't know. I just don't know. Now, there are other times where I use that passive to try and get a nice sneaky ability on them, but there's not a ton in this game. I do it a lot in other ones too, but it's usually only like a few times just so I can like land my route and possibly get some damage off. I'm never really killing with it. But hey, we get back, and the flash ult is also a good way to hit your ultimate, but honestly, ult flash is better because then they have less time to react to it. But hey, we get the kill anyway. We get the tower. We add up mid, and their Yone was getting beaten so hard in top lane, and we're really just dominating everywhere. He just gives up, and then the same thing happens again. But he's so little of an issue. I don't even bother using my ult, and that ended up being a good decision because that opens up this dive. And that's it. We did it. We won the game. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this one as we show how strong our bombs can be. Talk to you later.